My name's John Parker. I'm the founder of Flyby technology. So the original Jackal was built to fly 60 kilometers and carry documents, flash drives, that sort of stuff for the investment industry that's in the Comoros Islands. Because that gave us a number of challenges. It gave us challenges of flying in poor weather, strong winds, high temperatures, and carrying heavy loads great distances. So it seemed to be a perfect challenge, and that's how the requirements for Jackal were set. Decided to make the Jackal on the 29th of December 2021, and she first flew early March of the following year. 6 weeks in total between deciding to make the aircraft and it having its first flight, and it was remarkably stable. 4 pilots flew it on its first flight, and I was one of them, thankfully, and we were all mightily impressed with its handling capabilities. And in fact, on its third flight, it carried an underslung load to see if it would do it. And it carried a 35 kilogram underslung load all the way around a university. And so we were very, very impressed with that. And so was the Royal Air Force. And so we were asked then, what else can you do? What do you think we can do? Because we're all ex-military instructors and fighter pilots and combat helicopter pilots. And so we were asked, what do you think this capability means? And so we got together and came up with the idea for doing a trial. And now a company of our size can't get to be an OEM in one stride. An original equipment manufacturer in one stride. It's nonsense to even think that a company of our size could. So the RAF put us together with Thales because their behaviour with SME companies is excellent. So they knew to trust Thales with us, and we worked together. And in 6 weeks, we went from the idea to firing 2 missiles, having done all of the safety steps without a single shortcut. We didn't fold space or anything, silly to make this happen. We went through every single regulatory and assurance step that there was, so that it was completely safe. We don't alter the safety because we need to go fast. We go as fast as the safety will allow, but much faster than normal innovation processes. So we were able to build the 2 firing aircraft and get them to where the firing took place. And do the physical integration of the missiles into that platform and all of the other steps that were required to fire the missile safely. You need a very agile aeroplane that's very lithe and light on its feet, because it's a combat aircraft. It looks heavy, but it isn't, and it's quick and it goes a good old distance. And so it is agile, and if you look the wings on the video, you can't see the wings because we had to take them off for the firing, because we'd used them on the static firing to prove that no damage ever happened to them. But we wanted to have more performance. We wanted less weight, and the wings weren't serving any purpose in the hover. So we took them off to give us more performance in the vertical channel by removing the weight. And that was because it was the first time. We didn't know quite what the firing condition would do to the aircraft. So, we'd modelled it, and we modelled exactly what happened. So that just validated that assumption model. So, yeah, the wings are essential to the aircraft's range. And range is the metric, not endurance, when you're doing attack. The LMM gives us some unique operational capability that makes Jackal more potent. Yes, we could fire other missiles and drop other missiles and drop other munitions, but we wanted to be able to perform a certain task, which is battlefield air interdiction, which is to go behind enemy lines to find, fix, track and target items of enemy material that they don't want to lose. And if we can find it and mess it up, then they're going to pull it further back, and then it becomes less relevant to the front line. Their command and logistics chains are too long and they're overstretched because they can't risk their equipment that close to the battle. And so that buys time And also it gives us the ability to sanitize an area for future use by removing enemy assets before our troops go there. The thing that I noticed from Ukraine, it's not about a small drone dropping a grenade through a turret. It has applicability, but that's not what this is. This is a completely different animal. This is an aeroplane that can fly long distance, and it's the threat of Jackal that's more devastating than what it can actually do. It's what it might do that will have a bigger influence than what it is actually doing, and that's the whole point of deterrence and the whole point of weapons, to my mind. What really changed my view was in the early days when there was an armoured column on a road that sat there for some considerable time and nobody could get to it to effect it. And if Jackal had been there, that would have been a different story. The thing to take away really is that there's a big prime working with a tiny SME and isn't swallowing that SME. This is what the MOD wants. It wants agility. It wants an idea from a small SME to be given traction, to be given support, and not get eaten up in a 10-year procurement logjam. It wants this stuff now because technology is moving too quickly. If we sit and wait 10 years to go through old process, we'll be out of date. And that's not what is appropriate in today's highly volatile, Moore's law is changing. It's up until now, everything doubles in 18 months. In the drone industry, Moore's law is weeks, not months. And so you have to be developing in a spiral way to stay relevant. And large primes love them. They take a long time to get. They do excellent work and they get things into service that are beautiful and are fantastic. But with drones, they don't have to be fantastic. They have to be good. And let's not have the perfect get in the way of the perfectly good enough. And it will reduce casualties on a battlefield. It really will. And that's a laudable aim. Yes, it's a weapon. Therefore, people are quite rightly thinking, oh, goodness me, another weapon. Do we really need more weapons? Well, actually, we need the right ones, and we need them in the right hands, and we need to use them in a way that stops others using theirs. And that's when it comes into its own. And that's the laudable side of what we're doing.